The Navy's builders, the Seabees. They're on duty around the world, from the bitter cold of Antarctica to the steaming heat of Vietnam. Not since World War II has the demand for Seabees been as great. And in Vietnam, the need increases daily. From Davisville, Rhode Island, to Gulfport, Mississippi, to Port Hueneme, California, the Seabees are being trained in greater numbers in the latest construction techniques, using the most modern, up-to-date construction equipment. They're learning how to fight with the newest in military hardware. When they get to Vietnam, this training could save their lives. It has on several occasions already. Port Hueneme is the major material staging area for the Seabees. And from here, many Seabees and their equipment and material depart for Vietnam. In Vietnam, to handle the ever-increasing demands of the military buildup, the needs of the hundreds of thousands of United States and Allied forces, and to help the Vietnamese people, the Seabees are working at construction projects throughout the country. Supply bases, hospitals and schools, air bases, storage areas, and roads and bridges are but some of the projects already completed or under construction. At Chu Lai, one big Seabee project is the construction of an all-weather 8,000-foot aluminum mat jet runway, a heliport, an all-weather road system, and an advanced base city. Within 23 days after the Seabees landed, the first aircraft touched down on the partially completed runway. Chu Lai's heliport is one of the largest in Vietnam. From its pads, rise the helicopters to evacuate the wounded, to carry troop reinforcements and supplies to all areas of Vietnam. The Chu Lai airstrip has already exceeded its life expectancy. It has handled far more combat-laden aircraft sorties than it was designed for. Daily checks show its aluminum matting and base continues to be in good shape. No worse for the wear after thousands of landings and takeoffs. At Chu Lai, vast fuel storage facilities, POL tanks, expeditionary-type rubber fuel bladders, are installed by the Seabees. These and other more permanent type fuel storage facilities will serve to feed the tanks, trucks, aircraft, the heavy construction equipment, giant cranes, earth movers, and bulldozers that are being used in the fighting and the rebuilding of South Vietnam. Not only must the needs of war machines be provided for, but the needs of the troops as well. Shelter, food, medical, and sanitation facilities. At Chu Lai, Seabee crews pre-cut and constructed over 900 strong-back tents as living quarters for both Navy and Marine Corps personnel. When corrugated metal becomes available, it will replace the canvas roofs. In the climate of Vietnam, canvas will rot in 6 months. Tens of thousands of tons of supplies flow into Vietnam each month. The amphibious Seabees play a large role in unloading them, stockpiling them, and making sure they're distributed on time. The Seabee beach groups work round the clock in good weather and bad, in sand and mud to get the supplies ashore. It's a gigantic job. Over 90% of all material that comes into South Vietnam is brought in by ship. As the mountains of supplies pile up on the docks, the Seabees fight a never-ending battle to get them moving, to make room for more. A seawall of steel bulkheads and wood pilings to enlarge harbor facilities is built. The existing docks aren't able to handle the tremendous volume as the number of ships increase, bringing in more and more cargo. On the outskirts of Da Nang, Seabee construction teams mix and pour cement for concrete slabs of new buildings. Other Seabees stand guard to protect them from attack from the infiltrating enemy, the Viet Cong. Even the refreshments, a welcome break from working in a tropical, steamy climate, have to be brought in by armed patrols. The enemy, who is never far off, may strike without warning. The primary job of Seabees is construction, but at a moment's notice, they must be ready to fight. To say that Seabees can move mountains is true. Near Da Nang, the top of a mountain peak is lowered 200 feet and leveled for an anti-aircraft missile battery emplacement on top. Through dangerous rocky mountainous terrain, the Seabees carve a road to the missile site. Throughout South Vietnam, the Seabees are building other roads to move the men and the materials. Bulldozers, earth movers, graders, all working to make more roads and better roads. And who said the Seabees never drop anchor? Not the Seabees. They drop this one several hundred times a day. As miles and miles of new roads wind their way through the South Vietnam countryside, the need for crushed rock for surfacing them increases daily. Rock crushers have become one of Vietnam's most important pieces of construction equipment. Each month, thousands and thousands of tons of crushed rock is supplied to road-building crews by Seabee quarry teams. To meet the demands, the Seabees use every type of rock crusher available, some that'll crush only 15 tons an hour, to huge ones that'll crush over 200 tons. The roads are being built. The troop buildup in South Vietnam has come rapidly, too rapidly sometimes for the housing supply to keep up with the demand. So the Seabees do the next best thing. It's a little primitive, but it does serve the purpose. Men who work 10 hours a day at hard physical labor like the Seabees can stow away a lot of chow. Far inland from Da Nang at Tay Ninh near the Cambodian border, a shortwave radio is the only means of contact between headquarters and a Seabee team. The team, 1 officer and 12 men, work on construction projects in the area and help the Vietnamese villagers protect themselves. The daily job of just getting to work for the team is dangerous. The Viet Cong may be anywhere. The security of an armed convoy has proven to be the best defense against attack on these hazardous missions. However, ambushes do occur. It is here that a Seabee begins to appreciate the weapon training he received in the States. Fighting together, the Seabees and the South Vietnamese regional and popular forces quickly rout the enemy. Local villagers string barbed wire to encircle their village and the Seabee encampment. It's additional protection from surprise Viet Cong attack. The bonds of friendship have grown strong between the villagers, the South Vietnamese fighting forces, and the Seabees. After working shoulder to shoulder and fighting side by side, at the end of the day they find time for some relaxation and comradeship. The Seabees, because of their close associations with the South Vietnamese soldier, have grown to respect his fighting ability and his courage. About the only way a Seabee can find time to clean his weapons is to do it at night. And they must be cleaned often, for the heat and the humidity of the jungle cause rapid deterioration and corrosion. And when the cleaning is done, a man sometimes draws a lonely watch for a few hours, watching and searching for an enemy who may suddenly appear from the dense jungle. Me Tee, a peaceful little village on the outskirts of Da Nang. Tranquil now, but a short time ago it wasn't so. The Viet Cong had taken over the village, terrorized its inhabitants, and launched surprise attacks against the American forces at Da Nang. The Seabees moved in with the villagers, a security measure to keep the Viet Cong from taking over once again. Operating from Me Tee, Seabee patrols watch the river and search its banks for any sign of the enemy. At night, they stand watch and guard the village and Da Nang from attack. The Seabees are teachers, too. Instead of weaponry, however, the curriculum is heavy construction, as they help the Vietnamese help themselves. Working together, the Seabees and the people of South Vietnam are building roads, hospitals, schools, and shops. Perhaps as much as the rebuilding of their country, the close association of working with Americans is changing the Vietnamese people, giving them a lift and a greater purpose in their struggle, not only against the enemy, but against the hopelessness of poverty and disease. The Seabees in their people-to-people programs give of their time and of themselves unselfishly. Much-needed attention and gifts to children, many orphaned by the war. Food and clothing to people who have little or none. From Seabee dependents in the States come the clothes generously donated by them, to people they'll probably never know personally, but who are known and loved by their husbands, sons, and brothers. A brand new Seabee recruit passes his first inspection.